Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Guided by Lilith. Today, I'm going to be reading some excerpts from a book called The Canticles of Lilith. It is written by Nikolai and Katie de Matos Frieswald. You can get it from the UK online from a publisher called Troy Books. They also have plenty of other occult-based books in both affordable and special editions. These special editions are incredible, and they are very rare because they only publish under 150 copies or so of each one they release. I was lucky enough to be able to grab one of the 125 black editions that can be hidden on your shelf in plain sight. This is due to the subtle embossing of the title in the faux leather hardcover, only being visible to the naked eye if you let the light hit it from different angles. This makes it great for a book collection you want to keep discreet. This book is full of interesting and ancient approaches to practicing spirituality under Lilith. The authors write what they call an overture to introduce us to the readings. We get a basic understanding of how Lilith is seen in the first paragraph of the chapter, past the overture. Lilith has been tied to the idea of witchcraft either as queen, demoness, vampire, or a spirit of lustful vice, and all of these ideas hold a part of her mystery. But for the cunning one, she represents the witch mother herself, that with the fallen host and their offspring gave to the fair daughters of Cain and Seth the special blood that generated the different seed in the world that gave rise to the cunning ones. That excerpt introduces us to just a small portion of who people know as Lilith. The true original form has been debated over and over again across pantheons, but tendencies start to sound similar. For example, Lilith is seen as more feminine than masculine, and that she has some dark tendencies. What that means to have dark tendencies also varies because of our own personal interpretation, which is formed based on existing knowledge and past experiences. She can be ultimately controversial due to stark differences between both ends of the good and bad, malevolent and benevolent spectrum. Either way, the authors of the Canticles of Lilith acknowledge that this dark goddess is impossible to truly define. The book goes on to state Lilith is not a thing or an entity or something easily defined in terms of radical, clear, and poignant qualities. She is an atmosphere and a catalog of signatures, correspondence, engravings, and imprints. I find this absolutely fascinating, as I personally regard Lilith as being like a mirror. Who she is to you is a direct reflection of who you are and what you recognize. To me, she shows you yourself because, like a supernatural ability to shapeshift, she comes to you in a form that kickstarts your growth and shadow work. Later on page 17, we read, given the complexity of Lilith, it would help us in our quest to understand her both from a linguistic and hermeneutic angle, at least in keeping in mind the idea of semiosis, namely how ideas are composed of a wide range of meaningful signs that depend on perspective and landscape, or the hermeneutic horizon, which can give us an understanding that will always unravel itself, like peeling the layers of the sun to arrive at its core, just to realize that the layers and the core were like a point knowing no circumference. Let's get a more concrete definition of what hermeneutic and semiosis means. Hermeneutic is defined in the Oxford Dictionary as either something concerning interpretation, especially of the Bible or literary texts, or a method or theory of interpretation. In other words, it is a way to say that something, especially religious text, is based on interpretation. What you perceive as true in spiritual text may not be the same thing that another person perceives with that same exact text. Semiosis is defined in the Oxford Dictionary as the process of signification in language or literature. Signification means we're applying significance or meaning to something. In the case of Lilith, we would be applying meaning to texts about Lilith and drawing significance from them. My critique on that is that religious text would be written by humans, as that is our medium. The individual that writes their perceptions for others to read is exactly that, an interpretation. Furthermore, others that read it gather their own interpretations from that as well, and the cycle continues. This is how we get thousands of transcriptions from an original text, such as the Christian Bible. What can be made of this infinite realm of perception is appreciating others' viewpoints of Lilith while also maintaining authenticity in keeping our own. I cannot tell you exactly what to believe or what not to believe about Lilith. I am simply an interpreter with a medium with which to carry out my message. With books such as The Canticles of Lilith and many others, the more we learn about others' stories and findings about Lilith. It's ever so convenient that Lilith has been known to promote knowledge, so her identity appears to be an infinite unfolding of discoveries and storytelling. And with that, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I've added the link to the online store where you can purchase a copy of The Canticles of Lilith. I am not sponsored. I simply think that this is a great store to purchase occult-based books that also come in beautiful editions. Please like and subscribe as well if you want to see more of these kinds of videos in your feed. Plus, it does help me a lot as a creator. Blessed be, and farewell for now.